We were at a spot called Eat of Eden, and then my sister, Pauline, messaged me with an image, said, "Is this you, bruv? It looks like you." And then I sort of just laughed, said, "Yeah." And she just said to me, this is on Reuters and it's going viral. I don't know, do you know this? And I put it on my Instagram account, I put the image and then I put the video footage on there, and at the time I just coined a phrase. I just said, it's not black versus white, it's everybody versus the racists. I've been watching a lot of the demonstrations on TV and a lot of the other things that were happening in the world. Sometimes you kind of feel a bit helpless sitting at home. And obviously when you have children to take care of and grandchildren and stuff, and it's not easy to just get up and go to a demonstration. So yeah, just sitting at home in those weeks preceding that day, it was, you know, playing on my mind a lot. When, you know, George Floyd was murdered, that was a real, like, poignant moment where it was like, enough is enough. And, you know, something's got to be done now because, you know, how many more of us are going to be killed? And we all sit by and just, like, act as if it's just another everyday thing, you know? The state's changed a lot over the years. So in the corner there, it's a property now, but that used to be a sweet shop called Reenie's. We used to go there and buy our penny sweets and stuff. And even if you didn't have any money, she'd still, like, you know, like, sort you out. There's Mum waving at the window. What about kicking the lampshade? What about that, breaking it?
I've got one better. He was going to taekwondo classes. Was at school when he's at secondary school, showing off, kicking the door.
Yeah, I got in trouble.
So he's upset now, wonder how he's gonna pay for it. So I says, well, you just have to take your pocket money, isn't it, and pay for it. Take him over a year to pay for it. So I says, next time you're gonna show your taekwondo skill, do it outside.
I mean, listen, I wasn't a perfect teenager. I did get in a bit of trouble. Had my mum down the police station a few times. But, you know, eventually it was the love of my mum and letting her down that ultimately changed my behaviour. I didn't want to let her down. So, you know, I fixed up. It's easy to sit by and say to, you know, any individual, but especially young people, to be the bigger person and to not react and not let things escalate. But, you know, when you're on the other end of racism and oppression, it's very difficult, and we're all difficult individuals. One of the reasons we were there to protect and oversee and to stop the young people doing things that they may regret, because once they've done that thing and they get in front of the justice system, they're not going to be fairly treated. We know that. So I would just pull them aside and just give them a quick word and just say, listen, you know, you're here to demonstrate. Don't do anything silly. Don't do anything that you're going to regret later on, because there are police cameras everywhere. The police are filming everything that you're doing, every movement you make. So just make sure you're here to demonstrate and demonstrate only. Don't you get yourself mixed up or get involved in any tear-ups. Just stay cool and everything will be fine. Obviously the little bits and bobs were taking place, but ultimately the majority of it was peaceful. And it's important that we're allowed to protest because, you know, we have a right. It's your God-given right to be able to, you know, say what's on your mind. So it's important that that's not taken away, and but when you do protest, that it's done peacefully and you get your message across. Because anything that descends into violence, you lose the message. We had diffused quite a few situations, the guys, but they weren't all caught on camera. You know, there was one time when a car was attacked with EDL members or suspected EDL members inside the car. We stopped that happening. There was one young man that was turned on. They all of a sudden thought he was a member of EDL. They turned on him. We stopped that happening. There was a young man that was doing graffiti with a fist template. He was sort of spraying it all over the place, and we got in between him and the police to calm the situation down, and we took the paint and the spray and stuff away from the young man and gave it to the police. my sister's just turned up. When yeah, you got to get her in on. Hi, sis. Come here. I'm all right.
So I think what Patrick and the guys are doing, I think it's needed. It's really needed. I know there are lots of different. I mean, when we were growing up, we had just over there was like the youth centre. You know, we don't have youth clubs anymore. They're very rare, and you'd go there and it's a safe place, and you could get involved in stuff and, you know, get yourself off the street. They don't have that much of those anymore. You know, we're all in a couple of WhatsApp groups, you know how that goes. And I saw the actual scuffle on the video of what was going on with Patrick and his friends, but I didn't recognise it was my brother because I wasn't expecting him to be there, so I was just thinking, oh wow, I hope no one gets hurt. And then a couple hours later, this image appeared. I literally woke up that morning to press outside his front door, and it literally doesn't appear to have stopped since then. So, but he's handling it well. I keep saying to him, but you're like a natural, bruv. You just, I see him on camera and I'm like, wow, you just, you know, it's just so effortless for him. I mean, had I known, I would have probably said, don't do it, you know, but it hit home to me even more because I'm a probation officer and I work with these young men, and I probably would have had some of them on my caseload. You know, we work really hard to try and keep them out of trouble, and to see my brother, who doesn't do the same job as me, but he still has that kind of thought process to think, let's try and stop anything from getting really out of hand and anyone doing anything that they regret, you know, later on in life.
I think it's better to lead by example and show the people that do these negative things, you know, these oppressors and whoever else, just show them that you're different. You have a kind heart. You are a naturally kind person, and in the end, I feel like it will prevail. It may not seem like it at the time, but I think ultimately and eventually, you know, things will be better, and there will be a better, you know, there'll be a brighter day, let's say. The incident that sort of went viral, we were sort of at a distance when we noticed where there was a bit of an altercation happening between the Black Lives Matter protesters and the EDL members at the top of the stairs leading up to the embankment. And we were sort of rushing over there to try and, you know, calm the situation. And then before we could even get over there, there was only one guy left. I think the rest of the EDL members had run off and left him by himself. And he looked heavily intoxicated and sort of didn't know where he was. I could see a Rastafarian man just trying to protect him, telling people just to stay calm and just to leave him alone. And then people started to understand what was happening, and they started to attack him. They started to, you know, throw punches and stuff and try to get to him, while this Rastafarian man and a couple of other protesters also were trying to protect him, stop him from getting hurt. We had to try and get over there as quickly as we can because we knew it was only a matter of time before, you know, it got a lot worse. So by the time we got over there, he'd got to the bottom of the stairs and there was an absolute stampede going on. There was lots and lots of people. You couldn't see anything and you couldn't see where he was. The guys who'd got there just before me, they were basically sifting through people trying to find where this guy was and try to protect him. And then I came in just behind them and just thought, you know, the only thing I can do here, because we're all going to get trampled at some point, is just to scoop him up and carry him out to safety, which is what I did. Walked him over to the police and said, here you go. It was done because, you know, regardless of anyone's opinions or views, you know, we can worry about that at a later date, but at that particular moment in time, you know, you have someone down like that, it's only going to end one way. And, you know, we didn't want to stand by and let that happen because, you know, if you don't do anything and you're there, even if you're not one of the people that's, you know, inflicting the harm, you're almost complicit just by being there and standing by and watching and filming, you know. So we decided that we'd take action. So we've set up an organisation, UCHIABAI, which is United to Change and Inspire. We each have a pillar to work with: education for me, criminal justice for Jermaine, mental health for Chris Otakito, and youth development for Lee Russell. And we're going to just, you know, work and align ourselves with individuals who are doing great work in those areas and helpfully use our new platform to further their cause further the cause as a whole. And hopefully we can make some lasting change and put this systemic and unconscious bias, put all this stuff to bed and have equality for everybody.
So it's no surprise to you being given this award,
No.
humanitarian award, right?
No surprise at all. He deserves it. He really does. So proud of him.
How do you feel about him being awarded a humanitarian award?
Very, very, very proud. Yeah, I'm very, very proud.